For me, I make a distinction between posthumanism and transhumanism. The way the conference, the way the exhibit has it labeled as post with a space and then human is what I would call transhuman, because the emphasis is on the enhancement of the human body in some futuristic configurations with the aid of technology and other things. From my perspective as an anthropologist, and when I survey the evidence of the human existence for as long as there was documentation of what human beings were like over time, I tend to go with the concept of post-human as a single term. No space, no hyphenation, because the evidence convinces me that human beings and the success of the human species has always involved the incorporation of non-human living and non-living entities. And therefore, I do not know if I could identify or convince myself very firmly that there is a core humanism or humanity issue, because from day one, we are always more than human. As it stands, 90% of the body mass, the material, the biological material in our body is non-human in nature. So you have to ask yourself, what of you is human? Are you human? Are you not human? I think the evidence has shown time and again that we as a species has been very effective in incorporating the technology that we devise, but also technologies and entities and resources outside of our body. Think, how many people in the world today has a bypass in their heart? How many of us would have a hip surgery that replace the parts necessary to enable us to move more smoothly? And think back in time. We incorporate fire into part of our cultural repertoire, which in turn affects our dentition and affect our ability to absorb nutrients that otherwise we could not digest. So time again, we have demonstrated that tremendous capacity to incorporate and to include resources and technologies that enhance our success and our fitness in the biological sense. Will we ever lose, will human lose to artificial intelligence and whatnot? I am less worried about that, even though there is a lot of talk about the challenge when artificial intelligence, as we have created it, might attain a level of autonomy and self-replication or self-awareness that makes them much more powerful than we could be. But my concern is slightly different, and that is, over time, I think we have become increasingly anthropocentric, meaning we, human as a species, seem to develop this awful assumption that assume everything else in the universe revolves around us, that we are the most superior living beings, that we could do whatever we can do in order to enhance ourselves without giving due diligence to the understanding or the sensitivity that we are only one living species within a universe of many, many more living and non-living entities. And I think that lack of awareness or that deficiency in that sensitivity have done ourselves a lot of harm. And therefore, in the future, if we ever come to a demise, my suspicion will be, or the likelihood that I think that causes that demise, would not be because an artificial intelligence overdid ourselves, but rather we have done ourselves in by creating or making the environment and other support system deteriorate so badly that we as a species can no longer survive. If I may, I would combine it with the next question about the future of the human species. I think the past evidence definitely supports the direction of change we are seeing, and that is increasingly many of the work done by human beings will be replaced by technology, by artificial intelligence, and by other, software development, such as the driverless car. We don't have to drive anymore. All sorts of manual work and all sorts of skill set can be replaced by automatic machines. And even when it comes to thinking, think of the computer. How can we work without a computer anymore? They analyze our data, they record our information, they store them for us, and then they manipulate them and reconfigure them according to our design. So in the long run, I definitely see that more of the work that previously or currently are performed by human beings can be replaced by new technologies in both hardware and software. But I think there is one area of work that can never be replaced, and that is work that are dependent on emotional investment, such as the caring industry. How can you, yes, technically you can replace doctors, nurses, daycare workers, teachers with robots. But will that be the same? No. As a professor interacting with students every single day in the classroom, I can see that my interaction with them is totally vested with emotion, with sentiments. It goes back and forth. I can see them gaining new insights. And then from there, I can guide them into a certain direction and whatnot. Can it be reproduced by robots? I don't know. Perhaps one day we indeed could do that. But right now, when I look around, how can you replace the emotionally invested labor rendered by a mother or a father in the rearing and education of their child to a robot? I don't see it, simply because I really don't think that level of sentiment and emotion can be duplicated through hardware or software. The question itself is very important, because I hear you that there is some fear that increasingly people will be replaced in their jobs, and therefore there will be less jobs for all these people. That thinking is quite threatening, simply because the technology is very likely to enhance people's life expectancy to such a state that I would call it almost people will be born without an expiry date. And when that happens, the idea of no jobs for all this growing number of people in the world is precisely very scary, because then it would create a lot of unrest. And what do you do with all those bodies that will continue to exist? However, I think there are already some current information that come to my attention that points to the fact that perhaps it would not happen that way. Let me use agriculture as an example. The business logic obviously supports big farms, agro businesses that produce big volumes of food and distribute them very widely and whatnot. And we are already seeing a very strong and ongoing consumer reaction against that mode of production and delivery. So people talk about local food, but I think more generally, people are feeling, are paying attention to the issue that you raised earlier, and that is the trust issue. The trust in another human being who have to eat the right kind of food in order to get to have that, development, that health, that they can control the quality of the food, ascertain this food safety for their well-being and for their family members' well-being. That is a very strong incentive for people to pay more to get food that are labeled organic or locally produced. Now, whether they are indeed better or safer is another matter. But the thing is, consumers are reacting despite the business logic that dictates certain direction of production and distribution. I see lots of challenges. You might also some of you might consider challenges as to be risks as well. But let me just use challenge as a more neutral word. There are lots of challenges, and one of the main ones is a bioethics one, and that is, to what extent will an enhanced human no longer considered a human? And to what extent will an artificial intelligence with sufficient autonomy and self-sufficiency to be considered a human and not a machine? I think that kind of bioethics is a very complicated one, but it's not a new one. And I think we do need to continue to interrogate that. In terms of opportunities, I would like to suggest that we have already demonstrated our capacity to optimize those opportunities left and right and all the time. But I think there is more to be done. Let me just give you some examples. From day one, the human species have always lived with, co-evolved, and incorporated intelligent non-human species that support our survival. Think of the domesticated animals. Think about your dog. Think about your cat. They are highly intelligent species. But I furthermore think more broadly. Within the universe as we know it, okay, just on Earth alone, we know the whales, the dolphins, and many other animals, including lots of birds, have demonstrated tremendous intelligence. Have we devoted enough of our attention and investigation into learning more about the intelligence of those species that we could, borrow from and utilize to enhance our survival? I would suggest that we haven't done a very good job yet. And in my book, I mentioned this new discovery that certain dogs have that ability to smell, to identify cancer patients well before clinical symptoms come into our attention that were demonstrated by lab tests. And that ability to smell as a result of the oil gland, the sebaceous gland on your skin that stick to your clothing, but those dogs' ability to smell those things out is incredible. We cannot afford not to know about it. And yet, because of our highly anthropocentric focus on ourselves, yes, we keep dogs, but what are they? They are our companion animals. They are there to make us happy. Do we try to understand them? Only as far as they can serve us as companion pets, as companion animals. But dogs are a lot more than that. We, as a human species, if we are keen on surviving, we really need to do a bit more in understanding all the living and non-living entities that we are part of.